Hello everybody, welcome back to WSRT Fitness. If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe. If it's not your first time here, welcome back. Today, I'm starting the Learn to Feel series where I'm going to be going over exercises that I will program either for the beginner, somebody who is new to the gym or new to exercising, if they're exercising from home, or maybe somebody who's been trained for a while but is having trouble activating certain muscle groups. Now, before anybody gets on me for wearing my really loose, oversized hoodie, it's fucking comfortable, and it's like 40 degrees inside my gym right now, so, because it's an unheated gym. So deal with the hoodie until next spring, late next spring, when it finally starts to warm up. So today, we're starting off talking about the lats. I feel like the lats are one of the hardest muscle groups when you're new to really make that connection with. Really everything in the back can be hard for people to make connections with. So I'm going to go over 4 exercises, 2 vertical pulling, 2 horizontal pulling movements to really try to help you making a good connection and strengthening your back so that way you can get to some of the bigger, more compound lifts and really start growing your back in a progression. Now, again, if you've been lifting for years and you've got great connection with your back, this might be a good review just to kind of help your thought process, but likely you've probably already found ways to make connections with your back. If you're newer, these exercises should help you out quite a bit. So number 1, when I have new clients, I do like to do a lot of single arm or single leg training with a lot of exercises. You know, the unilateral movements are going to be good for evening out any imbalances that you might have. And it'll also be good to really focus the contraction into one muscle at a time. So the first movement, now a lot of people obviously can't do single-handed push-ups. A lot of people can't do a regular pull-up. I meant pull-up. Most people can't do a regular pull-up when they're starting. So, obviously lat pull-down is something that I would program a lot. And the traditional lat pull-down is the second exercise I'm going to talk about here in a minute. Before I get to that, we're going to talk about the single arm lat pull-down. Now, it's kind of like the high pulley row, where a high pulley row, you'd be out at a further angle and coming back, maybe with that little twist at the end like I'm going to recommend here. Now, normally I would be doing this sitting down, but I want to make sure that I stay very easy to see there on the camera. I want you to kind of see the movement. So I'm just doing this from a knee. But basically I would be sitting facing the machine. I know a lot of people do single arm lat pull downs at like a 45-degree angle and then twist in, kind of crunch down almost like a side crunch. And there's nothing wrong with that movement. However, I think that there's a slightly better way to do that, which is by facing the machine, where you're coming down, really focusing on getting the elbow behind the back. So when you're from the side, it's a little bit hard to really tuck it into the back, I feel, when you're newer, because I want you to get used to that movement of bringing it down and behind your back. It's a foundational thing, because think of all the single arm rows, those high pulley rows, any sort of cable row. You're trying to get that elbow behind the back. And so what I'll do to program for my beginning clients is to come down and then twist in, where you're kind of rotating in rather than doing the side crunch. You're coming down and twisting at the bottom. And what that's doing is that's maximally shortening the lat. So you're coming down and then twisting and then releasing up. And so I'll generally program that in a lot of times with lower weight, especially for newer clients, and allow them to focus the contraction. It would generally be part of a warm-up, and where I might do 2, maximum of 3 sets of 10 reps, in which warm-up exercises I am never obviously having my clients go to failure on. So again, it's going to be generally very lightweight, coming down with the concentric. Really do that squeeze, pause in that squeeze, feel that contraction, and then a very slow eccentric. So after that, you're going to be moving on somewhere in your main workout, again, for my newer clients, to a lat pull down. It might be the next movement, it might not. And so what you're going to be doing is, now this is a little bit wider grip than we normally have, because I'm about Here, let me shorten this up right here. So this is just a little bit wider than shoulder width, traditionally where I will have my clients starting out just a traditional lat pull down where they're coming. I want them to bring it all the way down to their chest, where what I have them doing is you're bringing your chest to the bar. That's, since people are generally having trouble feeling the contraction in the lat, but most people have a fairly good contraction with the front side of their body. So what I'll have them do is imagine bring that chest out to the bar as they're coming down. As long as they remember the cue of getting the elbow behind the back, they're going to be getting that full contraction of the lat muscle. And this also, by trying to bring your chest up to the bar, will also keep in mind to keep your shoulder blades down and back. And so it's really great to build that proper form, and also because of the down and back, it takes your traps, your shoulders more out of it, and it allows you to focus more into the lat and really grow the back. Now, another awesome thing about this, and this is one reason why I'll actually keep pull-ups out of beginners programs as long as I can at this point, because one of the great things is that with the lat pull downs, it's safer to allow for that full stretch and really squeeze at the bottom to make that contraction. So those are two of the 4 movements that I think are incredibly important. So let's move on. Oh, by the way, really quickly, if you are training from home, you don't need the cable setup. This is just a resistance band I've got wrapped around. This is my cable crossover, it's wrapped around now, but you can wrap it up from any high point doorway, and which is the same thing. Again, normally just to create more tension, I would be sitting down, but to stay on camera, I'm kneeling, where obviously right now for kneeling it's not, I'm too tall, but where you can get that full stretch, come down into that full contraction, and imagine, again, bring that chest to the bar idea, and again, not enough pull, but same idea right there. So let's move on to the next 2 exercises. All right, guys, so exercise number 3 is going to be a chest supported row, or chest supported bent over row. Now, the reason why I'm using a bench and doing chest supported as opposed to having somebody do it without the support is because I want to take pressure off of their lower back. Most of my clients are overweight or obese, but either way, if you're a beginner, you are most likely in some sort of a deconditioned state. Now, what that basically means is that your body isn't ready or used to certain types of exercise or certain types of activity. And so what I'm trying to do is exercises where a client could go a little bit heavier, like some sort of a bent over row. I'm giving them the added chest support to help them in using that heavier weight to build a little bit more muscle while using other exercises like the next one I'll be showing you guys in a minute to strengthen the core to protect the low back once I move them up to heavier movements like a traditional bent over barbell row. Now, the way that I would traditionally program this in for most people is with dumbbells, since most people do come to me with the ability to do dumbbells. Most of them aren't quite strong or ready to do barbell. But either way, I would prefer dumbbells here for most of my clients because of the fact that I have them use, and I'm going to get up onto this bar right now, either a neutral grip where the palms are basically facing each other, okay? Or I'll have them do an underhand grip, since that will focus the attention a little bit lower into the back and really keep the pressure in the lats. And I really think, in most cases, the underhand will work better for beginners to really focus that contraction in the lat. Now, again, just because you can go heavier with a lift like this doesn't mean that you should. You want to make sure, especially when you're a beginner, that you can feel the contraction, that you are feeling the right muscles working, where if you don't feel the muscle working, or if you don't feel the right muscles working, then you should always be lowering the weight and really focus and build that mind-muscle connection before trying to do anything crazy, before trying to add a whole ton of weight. Because the better you are feeling the muscle, the easier it'll be to build in the future. And the more you build it in a safe manner, the better your long-term health is going to be, especially when it comes to lifting. So let's move on to the last exercise. All right, guys, so exercise number 4, I get down here on the floor, and again, a pair of dumbbells. Yeah, you can go to the gym and use dumbbells, but you can also use dumbbells at home. And so exercise number 4 is the Renegade Row. Now, the Renegade Row kind of is the opposite of that chest supported row, in the idea that you'll generally need to go down in weight, lower the weight a little bit than what you can traditionally row, in order to keep your body in the proper posture with that high plank and properly row the weight and get your elbow up behind the back. Now, the idea of doing this is to stabilize your core and learn to use your core and keep it engaged while doing back movements. Now, what this will do in the long run, especially as you gain strength through your core and strengthen the lats, is it will help you to protect your lower back. So that way, this movement in conjunction with the last movement will make it safer to do the bigger movements like rack pulls, like bent over barbell rows, like picking up those heavy weights to do shoulder shrugs, even though that's the trap. But we'll talk about that a different day. So, and it's very simple to do this where, I mean, all you're doing, hopefully I don't come too far off camera, you're just getting into that high plank, depending on the weight that you have available to you, and also your experience level and the strength in your core. You can either keep your legs together if it's a lighter weight and you have some experience, or you can spread your legs out. I just like to keep my legs a little bit further apart, even though I have the strength to keep them together. But I would rather use maybe slightly more weight and keep them a little bit apart, just because I like to feel, for me at this point, I'm starting to want to feel the heavier weight to contract the lat. You may need to lighten the weight to feel the contraction. So all you're doing is you're getting up in your high plank, feet as far apart as you think is appropriate, and then you're keeping your core engaged while doing your Renegade Row. So that's it. 4 simple movements. It's not hard, but each of them do have their own little job in helping you make a better connection to your lat to eventually help you with doing those bigger lifts and really making a lot of gains. So that's the lat for the Learn to Feel series. We're going to be back with another episode of the series here in the very near future. I want to hear your comments below on what I should prioritize as to which muscle groups I should be getting out there for you to see to make those better connections with. I already know which one I'm doing next because I'm going to record right after this video and then just post it up at a later date. But let me know. What do you guys want to see? Comment below. And remember, if you need help getting started, I have coaching programs that you can purchase. Exercise programs you can purchase. You can also come on to my team, my coaching team, and I will help you where I'll custom write your activity programs to make the best gains you can in the time that you and I work together. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I can't wait to see you again very, very soon. Bye.